Good morning. I wanted to prepare this video because apparently some of you are not paying attention to the written things that I'm posting on the board and on Canvas. And it's very, very important for you to pay attention to the things because your grades are suffering tremendously. So let's talk about that for a minute. The most recent exams have migrated more into subjective type exams, requiring you to actually physically answer something rather than just clicking a box for true or false or multiple choice or something of that nature. Those exams are going to continue like that the rest of the semester. Unfortunately, I've had to do that because several students have been caught using artificial intelligence to answer exams, and it's been very, very disappointing to me to see that. I'm a big fan of artificial intelligence, but you have to learn the material, learn how to think before you just mindlessly throw it into an AI generator and get an answer. Those students are going to receive failing grades for this class. Do not do that. Do not. It's the risk is just not worth it. Next, some of you are very confused with respect to the material that you need to study on each exam. There is nothing that you can overlook, nothing that you can skip. If you have trouble accessing something, you can't just skip it and take the test because what you're having trouble accessing is going to be on the exam. Uh, Apparently, a number of students missed a very important announcement. And I'm going to show you where that announcement is on this particular video right now. If you come over here, I'm in student view. This is one of the sections of the class. They're all the same. And you click on announcements, you'll get all of the announcements. And this is so you can go back and check with that. There is one that's starred, star, link to all future lectures here. Please bookmark and save this. I posted that on September 25th, 3 weeks ago. All of you should have bookmarked that at this point. What happened is, and I'm going to click on the announcement so you can see it. For some reason, the link to the YouTube videos in the modules reverted yesterday back to UJOT links, which no longer work. I don't know why that happened. It wasn't something that I did, it just happened. I attempted to fix it, and I have fixed it for most, if not all, of the links. Some of you are still trying to use some old links and haven't gone back to it. But anyway, it doesn't matter because I gave you the link to all the future lectures on YouTube. You need to bookmark that. And I specifically said, here's next week's quiz, Real Property 1 lecture. Here's the following, Real Property 2 lecture. Um, Here is the bookmark. If you click on this, it will take you to a playlist of all of the lectures for the class. Business Law 263 course lectures, playlist, public. The actual videos are private, but you can go through and you can see, okay, let's see. Real Property 1, Real Property 2. There they are. You can scroll down. May not be in the exact order that in the modules, but it's not that hard to find. Criminal Law 1, Criminal Law 2. There they are. That is 35 minutes, nearly 50 minutes. So about 50 minutes, 13 minutes, about 50 minutes total of criminal law lectures. Some of you didn't watch that. Well, guess what? You're going to do poorly on the exam. You're going to fail the exam when you don't watch the lectures. I create every single question for every single exam myself. I don't use any other materials. It comes from me and only me. I'm going to take it from the materials I present, which include my lectures. So make sure that you cover the lectures. Had a student this morning email me, and or may have been yesterday, but I saw it this morning, and I feel bad for the student because obviously they missed that announcement, didn't which should have been emailed to every student as well, and they haven't gone back and checked the announcements. And they said, "Gee, I didn't know anything about these TV shows and this movie that you referenced on the exam. Didn't see anything about it, and I'm confused as to whether it's in the criminal law part or the agency part of the video that you did." Well, guys, those video classes that I do every 2 weeks, that's just an opportunity for y'all come in and ask me questions. I do give you a few little tips. That's not the lecture. That is not the lecture for the class. These are the lectures for the class. This is where you're going to get 90% of your material, maybe 90%, maybe high. I don't know. I mean, I take some straight from the PowerPoint, some straight from written documents. Just take it from various places, but much of it is going to come from my lecture. Um, and unfortunately, I've had to go to, some student was the other day gave me I gave you some analogous kind of cases, whatever. Sorry, they're going to have to come from my material. And the reason for that, unfortunately, is because of the use of artificial intelligence. If you're out there trying to use ChatGPT and pass the class, nope, not going to happen. You're going to fail. You're going to get a 40 on the exam rather than the 100 that you thought you were going to get because you allowed some machine to try to do it. Okay, and just kind of as a final kind of thing, the modules govern everything in the class. You click on the modules, and then you scroll down. The next exam that we have is going to be on agency. So you see the materials. That's a PowerPoint there. This is a handout I've got on powers of attorney. This is the lecture on agency. You can see at the bottom of the screen it says https www.youtube.com. So that one has been fixed. If it says UJA, you'll have to go to that YouTube link that you should have bookmarked 3 weeks ago and actually go and find it from there. Agency part two, same thing. There's a YouTube link, so you should be able to get it. Guys, if you have trouble accessing this, you need to figure out what's going on. Contact me or something, or figure it out some other way, because just skipping it is sticking your head in the sand. You're not going to do well on the exam when that happens. I want you to succeed. I need you to succeed. But to do that, you're going to have to study the materials. And then powers of attorney. I wonder if that's the same. That may be the same thing. But anyway, you've got to go all that material, all of it, not some of it. Not just show up for the or watch that Zoom class that I do every couple of weeks and give you a chance to come in and ask me questions, and then I give you some tips, which I hope are helpful. But it doesn't replace this material. You've got to do this material. You've got to actually go and watch this material. Okay, that's it for this. We've got a test next Wednesday on agency. The following one, if you'll look, corporations is going to be a whole bunch. Might not be a bad idea to get started a little bit early. Corporations is tough. Small business exams, not quite as tough as that, but that's the next 3 weeks. That's 300 points. Then you got the final exam, and there's a whole bunch of stuff there because that's going to cover basically a month's worth of material and be worth 200 points. If there's something I can do to help you in the class, please let me know. Um, I had another student that emailed me and asked me, said they missed the exam and they wanted a makeup. You should know, if you read the syllabus, I don't give makeup exams, but you should also know what I do to compensate for that. That's kind of the reason why we have this Let's Talk Grades for a Minute, how to calculate. And Canvas is going to be inaccurate. You're going to look at your grade and you're going to see it, and it's going to show you some number. That's not necessarily going to be the average that you get for the class. And I went through an example, and I told you, if you miss an exam, there's going to be a zero there. But for the first two exams that you miss, your grade of zero will be replaced with whatever you score on the final exam. Now make sure you take the final exam, which can't be dropped. And if you miss it, you're going to get a zero for all of them and fail the class. But if you miss an exam, up to two exams, that zero is going to be replaced with another grade, whatever you make on the final. We won't know that till after the semester's done, till the semester's concluded. Then you take the 10 grades that you have remaining, including those substituted exam grades, and you take only the 8 highest ones. So you drop the 2 lowest. Now, what if you missed a third exam? You have 3 zeros. Well, 2 of the exam grades get dropped anyway. So you take the first 2 that you missed, and you have a substituted grade from the final exam. And then that third one that you missed, that 0, is going to be dropped because it's going to be one of your 2 lowest grades. So if you missed 3 exams, you're fine. You should be fine, because you're going to have substituted grades, and you'll be able to drop it. You're not going to take a 0 in there. Now, if I catch you cheating, you're going to get a 0, and that 0 cannot be dropped. And I've made that clear, and that's in the explanations for the exams, etc. Those zeros will count. I reserve the right to just fail you for the class if you do that. I only need one instance of it. You do that on one question, and I can fail you for the class. At a minimum, I'm going to give you a 0 for that exam. That's going to count in your grade at a minimum, and I may just fail you for the class and recommend you to the university for the honor policy violation. I would highly recommend you go through the example that I gave here, plug in your own numbers for this, and calculate your grade. And I think it's going to reassure some of you. I had a student that a couple days ago, well, the one that asked me about the makeup exam, and so I said, look, before we do that, calculate your grade for me, and let's assume that you make this, this, and this for the next 3 exams, and you make this on the final exam. And he calculated the grade and came up with 68. And I said, no, that's not right. Try it again and make sure you review the syllabus and the policies that are in there. And so he came back and says, oh, he said, I forgot. He said, I get to drop the 2 lowest grades. And so it's this. And I said, nope, you're still not right, because he came up with like 82 on that answer. And so went through the third time. And the third time we recognized that not only was he failing to drop the 2 lowest grades, but he didn't substitute in the substituted grades for the final for the ones that he missed. And so he did that. He saw that he had a 91. So this student, who thought that he was doomed because he had missed a couple of exams, saw that with scores that were consistent with what he had done all semester, he'd end up with an A in the class, and not a D, and not a B, but an A. So I would highly recommend you do that, because Canvas is going to be inaccurate because there's too many things going on here. I'm way too generous with allowing you to miss 2 exams, substitute grades for that, and then on top of that, drop your 2 lowest grades, which can be a 0 unless it's a 0 by cheating, which doesn't get dropped. Anyway, I hope this hasn't been too harsh, but for those of you that need it, I don't mind kicking you in the rear to help you. For those of you that don't need it, good for you. Keep up the good work. I'll see you next time.